rather than divorcing him like I should have. I didn't do that.
In this video, you'll be hearing of this married woman who left a marriage of 24 years. I'm saying 24 years. It wasn't 1 year, 2 years, 10 years. She left after 24 years, but you're going to be hearing the reason why she left. For those that don't know me, hey guys, welcome back to this channel. My name is Princess Banigo and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber. To the returnees, you're welcome, and if you're new, thank you so much. Let's just dive right into the gist.
Somebody asked me how my marriage and my 24 years of domestic violence actually ended, so story time.
Why would any sane person want to end a marriage of 24 years? I am sure you would be wondering. Well, there are tons of factors that could lead to that reason, but I will want to hear from this woman, and so we can all learn from this situation, because a lot of people are going through bad marriages and some keep staying. Some, they ignore the bad things they're going through and they stay till forever and they remain miserable. But let's just hear what this woman right here has to say, and I'll come and give my own 2 cents.
Little backstory. Jake and I had been married for 22 years when I discovered that he had a double life and had had multiple affairs. Rather than divorcing him like I should have, please, if you're in this situation, leave. It's over. Run. I didn't do that. We did separate off and on, but 2.5, 3 years after I discovered the adultery, I gave him a second chance, reconciled, moved myself and my kids from Ogden, Utah down to Gilbert, Arizona, moved in with a man who had abused me and cheated on me for decades, hoping he was going to be a better guy. So 6 weeks after reconciling and moving back in with him, one Saturday, we woke up and went for a jog. It started raining on us and we were trapped. Like, we didn't have kids that had cars or anything. I don't think we had our cell phones with us. So we just stood under like somebody's front porch holding hands and waiting for the rain to stop. After that, we came home and did a little bit of housework and took the kids to a movie theater to see that First Man, that like spaceship or space exploration movie. Went out to lunch, had an amazing afternoon together. This is kind of a weird coincidence, but later that afternoon I would go to a suicide education class and like how to prevent suicide. Did not come in handy for me a month later. And at the end of that, some of the other girls that were at that thing told me that there was an acoustic guitar concert at the location where it was. So I called Jake and said, hey, why don't you just bring Brody and meet me? We'll watch this acoustic guitar concert tonight. This sounds great. Jake came and met me. And after the concert, we went to Payway. I was sitting down at Payway in Gilbert, Arizona, thinking, I'm so glad I didn't divorce him. I'm so glad we're working on things. I was looking at Brody, who was 8 at the time, and just so happy. It's like, we got this. We're going to get him help. We're going to get me help. Our marriage is going to be okay. Our family is going to be okay. I reached across the table to hold his hands, and he pulled his hands away, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Coincidentally, his phone was on the table at the time. So when he saw me reaching, he might have thought that I was reaching for his phone, but he yelled at me. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I'm just thinking how happy I am. So he yelled at me at Payway, and for however long it took us to eat dinner at Payway, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever, he was just like batshit crazy the entire time. So we went home and, you know, got the kids in bed and eventually went to bed ourselves. And I woke up at midnight, not dressed. My legs and arms were all wrapped around Jake like a pretzel. My forehead was pressed up against his beard. And I thought to myself, this was like the best day that we've had together in forever. But then what the hell happened? Why did he yell? It's actually always really bothered me that like one of the best days we ever had together as a married couple was the day that I lost my husband, the day that it all hit the fan. So we'd had this amazing day together, feeling very connected, feeling very safe, feeling very hopeful about our marriage and about Jake and everything. And I woke up at midnight, laying there all snuggled up under the sheets with Jake, thinking this was really, really off, the way that he yelled at me at Payway. So he was dead asleep. I decided for the first time ever in our whole entire marriage to just open up his phone and take a peek. He had one of those new phones that had like the face recognition. And I know people have said before, like in some of the videos that I do on this, that if he was sleeping that it wouldn't have opened it. This was 2018? It did. I just grabbed his phone. I walked over to the side, pretended like I was going to the bathroom, walked back over very quietly, grabbed his phone. He's a deep, deep sleeper. I just grabbed his phone and held it over his face, and it opened up. I did not know his passcodes at that point. And then I just kind of squeezed back into my side of the bed and laid there in the dark, flipping through his phone. And what I found was that 5 minutes after I had pulled away from our condo where he was out there, we'd watched a football game that day. Him and Brody were throwing a football, like during a commercial of a football game. I pulled away, saw my husband and my son playing football together, feeling really great about life, feeling very hopeful about our relationship. 5 minutes after I had pulled out of the driveway, he had gotten on Google and was searching, this was his specific search, 21-year-old escort Phoenix, 19-year-old escort Phoenix. As I followed his search history, he had ended up in a chat room with a 19-year-old paid escort, and I still have the screenshot of the photo from his phone. She was in like a black lace bra. She had bright blonde hair. She said she was 19. I don't know her name. And he had chatted back and forth with her, and he had arranged with her that he was going to meet her the next night up in Phoenix. I put a tracker in his phone. I deleted all of my tracks. I put the phone back on the nightstand. I laid there next to my husband the entire night, bawling my eyes out and literally going into mental shock over the fact that he was cheating on me again. I woke up the next morning and just casually asked him as soon as he was awake, you don't feel tempted to cheat on me at all? Like, you're not having problems with like adult film stuff? You're not having any problems with sex workers or anything like that, are you? Are we good? I just moved from Utah to be with you. Are we okay? Are you okay? And he said, yes. Why? So after I had found on my husband's phone that he had arranged to pick up a 19-year-old escort up in Phoenix the next day, and I woke up and I asked him, are you having any problems with adult film stuff? Are you tempted to cheat on me? Are we okay? Is everything okay? And he said yes. Well, then he was actually hopping in the shower, and I just climbed up and was sitting on the counter in our bathroom where I could kind of watch him and talk to him. And I asked him point blank, I said, were you searching for escorts on your phone last night by any chance? What were you doing while I was gone, while you were home babysitting Brody? He said, what? No, never. So then I asked him, can I check your phone? Do you mind if I check in your phone? He knew that I didn't have his password. The phone was sitting there. I think that he felt really safe that I couldn't hack into it. And he took a shower. He gets out of the shower. He goes, I'm actually going to the gym. He had just taken it. So he says, I'm going to the gym. I need to get over there right now. We lived in a condo that had a gym. He was literally walking out a door to a gym. He wasn't meeting anyone over there. There was no reason for him to say this. He goes, when I'm done at the gym, then you can check my phone. So I spent an hour in the condo literally wanting to throw up, getting the kids out of bed, going through the motions, knowing that I had just caught my husband cheating on me again. He comes back from the gym. He hands me his phone. He opens it up. Says, by the way, here's my password in case you want to get into it. I scroll through it. He has deleted everything. About 2 o'clock that afternoon, he says, I need to go up to Barrow's Pizza to do some work. And I said, why don't you take Brody with you? He would love to go to Barrow's. And he said, no, I need to go by myself. I'll probably be there until after dark. I followed him to Barrow's Pizza. He did actually go eat pizza. And then at some point he left and I didn't see him leave the parking lot, but I had the tracker on his phone. I followed him up to 26th Avenue and Northern in Phoenix. Literally sat in my SUV behind a dumpster where there was a little crack and I could see, the eyelash filter is so funny, I could see his vehicle through the dumpsters. And I watched a girl who had a man with her that looked like a pimp, and she had a little purse on her shoulder and stuff, and she was blonde. I watched her walk up to his vehicle, and it looked like she got in, and then he left the parking lot. I waited there because I thought that he might come back there to drop her off later, but he never did. Later that night, Chloe would call me and say, hey, Dad just came home. So I still had like over an hour and something drive back home. I walked in the door and he was literally laying in our bed asleep, like nothing had happened. So I snapped my fingers to wake him up, poked him in the shoulder, and said, a man who does this to me, and you know what you've done, doesn't get to sleep in my bed after. Okay, here's the wrap up. Sorry, I had to go paint some furniture for a while. So I asked Jake to go spend the night on the couch. The next morning, he wakes up and he comes in the bedroom like nothing had happened, and he takes a shower and he sits down on the edge of the bed where I'm sleeping and puts on his little $500 Steve Madden shoes and his little designer shirt, and he's getting ready to go work at the windshield company. And he doesn't apologize. He doesn't say anything. We don't even talk about anything. He says nothing. I kind of thought he would. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I expected. He acted like nothing had happened. So I told him, I said, come home after work and let's talk. This marriage is over. So 5 or 6 o'clock that night, he texts me. He's like, I'm sitting out on a couch we had a swimming pool at our condo. And I go out there, and I had had a horrible day. I was still in my pajamas from the night before. I hadn't eaten. I was calling people, my best friend, and just trying to figure out what I was doing, and basically kind of laying in bed and crying all day too. But I knew that I had to end our marriage. I knew that it was over. So I sit down next to him on the couch by our swimming pool, and I put my hand on his knee, and I said something along the lines of, thank you for the 24 years that we've been together. This is the end. Our marriage clearly cannot continue for obvious reasons. So let's talk about how to dissolve it and move on. He takes his fist and hits my hand off of his leg, jumps up and screams, "Good, I can't wait to start sleeping with all the women that I want without having you looking over my shoulder all the time." So I start crying and I scream at him like, "You are such an asshole." And he turns on me. And I take a couple steps back and he's walking towards me. And I turned and I ran to my apartment, and he chased me, like busting through the gate. I slam the front door, try to lock it. He slams it open, comes into my condo, is screaming at me, is physically pushing me, and screams, "I'm gonna effing end your life." And then he goes into our master bedroom towards our master closet, where he has 16 weapons and ammunition. So I call 911, and a little while later, the Gilbert Police Department, with a bunch of their little bulletproof vests, escorts him off the property. We get an order of protection. I file for divorce. He would take all of our money out of our bank account the next day. He would evict me from my condo. He would take my vehicle. I lost everything to leave this man. I was sleeping in the back of my car, peeing in a Circle K cup at night. But I have my kids. I have my sanity. I am building the life that I want, and I am safe for the first time in my entire life.
In this story, it is absolutely pathetic what she went through. Even though, I can smile right now because obviously she's over the whole thing that happened. But seeing how this man cheated on her over and over again, and it wasn't going to change. And when she told him she was done with the marriage, the first thing he blotted after taking her hands off his ties was to say, oh, he can't wait to start sleeping with all the women he wants without looking over his shoulder. It just makes you wonder, really. Sometimes it makes you wonder, this marriage, everything, is it really worth it? Giving your life, sacrificing, having babies, and then boom, it's all gone. It makes you really wonder if you want to venture into this. But there are still happy stories, so I don't think we should totally give up on marriage. We can't be too careful. And one point I picked was she went through his browser history. If that is not being outdated the way I stated it, but she went to check his browser history, and that was when she saw what he was searching for. Because sometimes they're very quick to men end their chats, say they have WhatsApp, Messenger, or whatnot, they end it all. But that browser history, I feel like sometimes you can just see what your partner is doing, searching for. And I'm talking about both parties, the man, the woman. So guys, let me know what you think about, after hearing this story. What are your thoughts? Do you think, marriage is worth it? Do you think it's not worth it? Do you think, it's just a story, it would never happen to me? Or do you think, marriage is, anything can happen? Let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye for now.